Uncertainty can linger like night fog, and you may wonder whether today will carry surprise storms or quiet mercy. Have you felt that hush of doubt pressing on your chest before the sun even rises? In this still moment just before dawn, when birds wait to announce the morning and the air holds its breath, you are invited into sacred light. The God who is light blankets every horizon, radiant yet gentle, and his presence is the surest refuge. Here you choose to exchange anxious plans for calm trust, letting your heart rest and your steps align with his wisdom, so that you may shine with resilient hope even when twilight edges the sky. For it is written, God is light, and in him there is no darkness at all. A 1 John 1:5. This eternal truth means dawn rises inside you, not just across the sky. It reminds you that no shadow can cling to a heart kept open to his radiance. So, which burden will you hand him in this luminous hush, and what desire will you trust him to nurture through the hours ahead? Now, as your heart grows still, we step into the widening dawn light. You stir before the alarm, sensing a golden hush pressing gently against your eyelids. You rise, draw back the curtain, and let the first beams spill across the room like liquid mercy, painting the floorboards with quiet courage. The air tastes of dew and possibility as you inhale deeply, every cell whispering that night has surrendered its claim. In this shade glow, you recognize the heartbeat of the one who spoke light into being, and you answer with a timid yes, letting gratitude swell where restlessness once nested. With each slow breath, your shoulders drop and your pulse finds the same cadence as birds perch somewhere beyond the glass, waiting to break the silence with song. You choose, even before words are formed, to begin today inside this brilliance rather than outside it. You stand near the window and open your palms as though they were empty lanterns yearning to be filled. Dawn pours through your fingers, threading warmth into the creases yesterday's tension engraved. True illumination, you remember, is not merely around you but within, planted by grace long before sunrise. So you whisper, send out your light and your truth, let them lead me. Psalm 4:3. This petition is a compass for the soul. It invites radiance to become direction, guiding you beyond familiar streets and small expectations. The verse settles like incense, and soon the luminous tide creeps higher on the walls, revealing dust motes dancing in holy orbit. Nothing hides in this clarity, not the unspoken dread about deadlines, nor the quiet ache for reconciliation, nor the fragile hope that breakthrough might finally arrive. You lift each fragment into the brightness, trusting that exposure is balm, not shame. In the shine you hear a gentle assurance. Mistakes are not monuments, they are shadows. And shadows flee in stronger light. You picture the Father's face glowing over you, unblinking, kind, reading every line of your story without turning away. Light becomes instruction. You sense pathways unfolding like petals. Simple choices to speak gently, to pause before replying, to notice the overlooked person on the subway. You envision your steps traced in gold on the pavement, each footprint a pledge of alignment with heaven's rhythm. Birds begin their chorus outside, reminding you that praise is most vibrant where night once held sway. Joining their anthem, you let gratitude roam from roof tiles to treetops until even distant traffic hums along. You taste hope on your tongue and find it warm, steady, proof that what began as dawn light now stretches to the edges of your awareness. Before turning from the window, you cinch resolve around your spirit the way a traveler tightens a cloak. You will carry dawn inside long past breakfast, letting its brightness tint meetings, errands, and small conversations. Should clouds gather by midday, you will recall this moment and feel the ember reignite, resilient against passing gloom. You speak a vow into the still room. Today you will walk in light, speak in light, rest in light. The corridor of hours ahead unfurls like a sun, lit road eager for your footprints. And you step forward with unclenched hands, bearing a heart already illumined for the journey. For every corridor you enter, you imagine shafts of unseen brilliance preceding you, softening harsh edges and revealing possibilities others overlook. You decide now to greet each face as a mirror catching that glow, to sprinkle kindness like flecks of sun on cold sidewalks, to pause at noon and remember that the light has no shadow of turning. Even evening emails will feel the warmth of this rising, because dawn planted in spirit keeps widening until twilight kneels in quiet promise. You leave the window and notice how the sun's first shimmer tiptoes across the hallway. Yet a few rooms stay draped in half, tone hush. So it is within memories stacked like attic boxes, motives folded beneath daily routine, emotions taped shut for fear of spilling. You stand at the threshold of thought before a door marked PRIVT, sensing the spirit urging you to turn the handle, assured that light arriving from God never wounds. It heals, clarifies, and frees. You step inside with the same openness you offered dawn. Shelves appear lined with stories, childhood laughter, quiet betrayals, unremarkable Tuesdays no one recalls. Each recollection sits in dust, soft gloom, until you invite radiance to touch it. You inhale deeply, let warmth seep across forgotten corners, and watch even regret glow gentle once exposed, jagged edges soften like ice against morning rays. Transparency becomes liberation, not trial. May the eyes of your understanding be enlightened. Ephesians 1:18. This verse slips like a key into secrecy's lock, widening perception beyond eyesight so you spot treasure where you assumed only clutter existed. With spiritual vision expanding, you notice patterns once hidden, how irritation blooms when you feel overlooked, how ambition sometimes disguises insecurity, how silence can mend better than swift retorts. These insights do not sting. They shimmer, kind instructors writing wisdom upon the tablet of your mind. Each revelation is an invitation. Release the habit, forgive the wound, cultivate compassion. You nod, embracing this curriculum authored by Grace. A gentle aroma of coffee drifts from the kitchen, reminding you of yesterday's anxious mornings, yet today the scent mingles with expectancy rather than hurry. You journal a simple plea while steam curls upward. Search me, illuminate me, reshape me. The pen moves unpressured, circling fears that once looked colossal in darkness, but now shrink beneath clarity. You cross out familiar lies. Not enough. Too late. Unlovable. And watch them fade like haze under rising heat. Your chest loosens as chambers brighten. Divine laughter echoes through spaces once occupied by condemnation. The Father is never shocked by any discovery. He wandered these halls before you were born, planting seeds of purpose beneath every floorboard. You pick up one seed labeled courage and slip it into today's pocket, vowing to nurture it with small acts, speaking truth in a meeting, apologizing quickly, choosing kindness toward the hurried cashier. Light reveals another door, this one swinging toward relationships. You recall moments when impatience bruised another's hope and feel conviction without crushing shame. Clarity instructs you. Craft a message of restoration. Greet first, listen longer. Radiance left unpracticed is theory. Radiance applied becomes wisdom, transforming ordinary connections into conduits of blessing. Returning to the hallway, you find it awash in mid-morning brilliance. The interior tour leaves you lighter, almost weightless, like a house flinging open every shutter. You recognize that tending your inner landscape is sacred stewardship, for from this heart flow every word and gesture. You whisper a closing consent. Keep searching, keep brightening, keep guiding. Then you step toward the day with a chest full of windows and pockets lined with seeds. Convinced the world will appear different, because you now see differently, and because others will glimpse heaven's glow reflected in your newly illumined gaze. You lace your shoes and step outside, welcomed by a path still damp with early sheen. Leaves glisten like tiny signposts, each pointing toward ordinary roads transformed by divine choreography. With every stride you recall that motion itself is worship when aligned with purpose, and you invite the spirit to map today's mileage. The sidewalk becomes a scroll, unrolling verse by verse beneath your soles. Uncertainty no longer paralyzes, it whispers opportunity. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 19:1-5. This promise turns pavement into holy parchment, assuring you that missteps need not spiral into dread, because illumination walks ahead, matching pace with tender precision. You sense gentle nudges. Pause here, smile there. Choose patience at the crosswalk though traffic drones impatiently. A child's laugh drifts from a porch swing, and you find your own lips curling upward, mirroring joy you did not manufacture. Guidance is not barked orders, it is a quiet magnetism drawing your soul toward life, giving intersections. Mid-morning bustle gathers, yet you remain attuned to subtle direction. An email arrives sharp with critique, reflex might defend, but you inhale luminous counsel and reply with grace that disarms tension. Moments later, a coworker lingers by your desk, brow furrowed with silent fatigue. Your schedule brims, yet the inner compass pivots you toward unhurried listening. 5 thoughtful minutes become a rescue rope, and you recognize heaven's logic. Detours are often main roads of kindness. Through lunch queues and ringing phones, you cultivate alertness, eyes scanning for glimmers of assignment others call coincidence. You discover guidance in micro rhythms, the impulse to thank a janitor, the urge to text encouragement, the caution to postpone gossip masked as concern. Each yes etches another golden waypoint on the day's map, weaving continuity between dawn gratitude and coming dusk assurance. Guidance stretches beyond tasks into posture. You straighten shoulders not from pride, but alignment, as though invisible hands square you within the larger story. Obstacles arise, a delayed delivery, a tense meeting, an unexpected expense. But instead of scrambling for control, you tilt inward, listening for recalibration. Peace surfaces like a hidden trail, rerouting you around anxiety's ravine. Even physical rhythm embodies instruction. You slow your walk through the lobby to match the pace of elderly visitor. letting your serenity set atmosphere. Birdsong earlier taught you that melody can guide movement. Now your measured stride becomes a silent hymn, reassuring those who hustle nearby. As afternoon advances, you review the unfolding itinerary, not one spectacular miracle, yet a constellation of minor obediences shimmering in memory. You realize the day's splendor is not found in monumental moments, but in thousands of synchronized steps, each echoing the quiet yes spoken at dawn. You marvel that the same light guiding galaxies choreographs your commute, emails, and conversations. This realization anchors confidence for hours still unwritten. You end the workday standing again at a threshold, this time the doorway home. Streetlights flicker to life, mirroring the steadfast glow within. You whisper a brief benediction over the path already traveled, and the sidewalk waiting ahead continues steering every footfall until final rest. Then, with heart steady and shoes dusted by ordinary wonder, you cross into evening certain that tomorrow's route will unfurl beneath the same faithful radiance. Twilight hums outside, yet your inner horizon still blazes, and that inward glow now searches for canvas beyond your own skin. You enter a grocery aisle and notice dull faces bent toward lists, worries hanging like lint in fluorescent air. Immediately brilliance wells through your smile, softening the cashier's shoulders, brightening the old man's eyes as he reaches for apples. You realize reflection is effortless when the source has saturated every pore. Your very presence sparkles like windshield mist catching late sun. Words carry warmth, gestures beam guidance, silences flood rooms with quiet courage, even footsteps leave shimmering echoes. Small constellations for hurried strangers to follow. Let your light so shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. St. Matthew 5 and 6. This invitation is not performance but overflow, turning daily kindness into stained glass scenes through which observers glimpse divine splendor. Goodness displayed becomes praise redirected, positioning your life as a window rather than a mirror. You hold the door for a family juggling bags, and gratitude ripples from their laughter into neighboring conversations, multiplying hope like lanterns passed hand to hand. Later you answer a curt text with gentleness that disarms tension. Pixels themselves seem to soften, transmitting peace along digital wires. Shining does not demand grand speeches. Your attentive eye, your choice to listen until another's rant drains into relief, your readiness to forgive before asked, each act is a luminous hymn louder than shouted proclamations. Coworkers may not recall exact phrases, yet they will remember feeling unexpectedly lighter after standing in your orbit. Challenges arrive, testing wattage. A colleague criticizes your project in front of others. Momentary flush rises, yet instead of dimming, you anchor in the steady core kindled at dawn. You thank her, invite specifics, and marvel as tension dissolves under honesty's gleam. Later traffic stalls, horns flare, you breathe steady. Play a worship refrain low and notice nearby drivers relaxing, mirroring calm they cannot name. Darkness has nowhere to roost when you choose radiance over reaction. Your online presence also carries luminance. Scrolling headlines drip cynicism, but you decide each comment you type will seed encouragement rather than amplify outrage. A weary friend posts about sleepless nights. You send a voice memo laced with blessing, and across distance a heart lifts. Algorithms may count likes, yet heaven measures beams, tallying every pixel of grace released through your fingertips. As stars emerge overhead, you step onto the balcony, remembering morning vows. City lights glitter like echoes of the greater brilliance, filling your lungs. You whisper gratitude that unspectacular moments became flickers of eternity. The apple, the text, the stalled commute. You ask for continued courage to sparkle tomorrow amid routine, convinced that one illuminated soul can guide many through night valleys. Then you lift palms toward the velvet sky, letting residual glow pour upward in worship, trusting that every unseen ray returns to its author, weaving a brighter tapestry for the world below. Sun now sits high, pouring relentless brilliance upon rooftops and sidewalks, and you feel its weight on shoulders already carrying tasks, deadlines, questions still unanswered. Heat shimmers above asphalt like invisible waves, mirroring tensions that rise when schedules tighten and patience thins. Yet the same dawn light that softened morning now strengthens into courageous blaze, forging perseverance within you the way midday forges metal beneath Smith's hammer. You sip cool water and remember that resilience is not stoic grit, but supple trust bending without breaking, returning to true shape each time pressure presses. Those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall run and not be weary. Isaiah 40:31. This promise is a midday oasis, reminding you that endurance flows not from frantic motion, but from anchored anticipation, drawing fresh vigor from the well of divine constancy. Emails ping faster, conversations quicken, the phone vibrates with urgent requests. You pause amid swirl, inhale steady, and let inner light pulse brighter, refusing to flicker. You answer firmly yet kindly, pace your words between breaths, and discover that measured speech diffuses turmoil more effectively than hurried explanations. Even when a project file corrupts or a shipment delays, you sense calm streaming through veins, cooling frustration like shade stretching across scorched ground. You step outside for a brief walk, letting sunlight braid through tree branches overhead. Cicadas drone their summer song, persistent, unwavering, a symphony of endurance. You mirror their rhythm, matching strides with the metronome of nature's resilience. Shifting leaves remind you that abiding brightness can coexist with motion. There is permission to sway without snapping. You choose to release clenched timelines, trusting creative solutions will surface once tension loosens its grip. Back at your desk, you organize priorities, grouping tasks by piece rather than panic. Some items can wait, others demand steady focus. A few call for courageous delegation. You send a colleague a note of gratitude for their support, transforming potential competition into collaboration. Light expressed as humility multiplies capacity, spreading workload like beams refracted through crystal into many colors of capability. Mid-afternoon slump tries to descend, tempting you to scroll aimlessly or reach for empty sugar. Instead, you close eyes briefly. Imagine golden current flowing from crown to toes, rebooting energy circuits. You whisper, "Sustain me so I may sustain others," and feel posture straighten, gaze sharpen. You type, plan, decide, each action trimmed of excess, infused with bright intention. Resilience also guards your emotions. Gossip buzzes near the coffee station. You decline entry, steering conversation toward encouragement. Complaint knocks at your thoughts. You counter with a quick inventory of mercies. Legs that walk, colleagues who care, breath that continues. Gratitude acts as sunscreen, deflecting scorch of cynicism. As shadows begin to lengthen, you reflect on how midday's glare revealed cracks in confidence, yet also melted stubbornness, allowing wisdom to seep deeper. You recognize that perseverance is not surviving heat alone, it is emerging softer, wiser, radiant despite intensity. You gather remaining tasks, seal them with excellence, and log off knowing productivity flowed from sustaining presence, not frantic chase. Walking toward evening, you sense a lingering glow inside, proof that resilience forged in hottest hour now travels beside you like a still, flaming torch, ready to light dinner tables, living room talks, late night prayers. Midday did not drain you, it distilled you, leaving pure resolve that tomorrow's heat will only temper further. You step onward under dusty peach sky, carrying endurance like quiet fire, sure that light without shadow never dims but adapts. Dawn gentle, noon fierce, twilight tender, ever guiding, ever renewing. Evening settles like velvet across rooftops, brushing the sky with bruised lilac and amber gold, and you feel creation exhale. The busy loops of the day loosen, and you stand at the edge of this hush, sensing two lights at once. Fading sun beyond the horizon and steady radiance humming within your chest. Twilight is not defeat of brightness, it is its gentle transfiguration, reminding you that what dawn ignited and midday refined now glows in softer hues, preparing soil for tomorrow's renewal. From the rising of the sun to its setting, the name of the Lord is to be praised. Psalm 117:3. This verse stretches like a celestial bridge, stitching sunrise to sunset with unbroken worship, pledging that light's journey mirrors your own continuous devotion. You recall dawn's vow, midday's endurance, afternoon's witness. All along, an unseen hand stitched each segment into one luminous tapestry. Now, as crickets tune their night song, you count the embroidered threads, kindness given at the grocery line, patience offered in heated discussion, resilience forged under digital deadlines, private prayers whispered over spreadsheet cells. None are wasted. Each shines like sequins catching final daylight. Twilight gathers them, arranging a glowing altar of remembrance within your memory. You step onto the porch where gentle breeze carries scent of jasmine, and street lights flicker alive, echoing the interior lamp that never quits. Shadows drape lawns, yet they hold no fear because internal brilliance remains undimmed. You breathe slow, letting eyelids flutter, savoring holy tiredness that signals faithful expenditure, not depletion. Like embers after campfires dance, you radiate lingering warmth. Enough to guide late wanderers home. Promise rises with the first star. You think of travelers who navigated seas by these pinpoints and realize tomorrow's guidance is already placed in heavens, faithfully circling. Light's rhythm is covenant after dark, dawn returns, after fatigue, renewal, after confusion, clarity. You stretch hands upward, palms open, forming a quiet yes, to cycles you cannot control yet gladly trust. Inside, lamplight pools across kitchen table where tomorrow's planner lies waiting. You jot final gratitude list. 3 simple lines: protection, purpose, peace. Gratitude stabilizes angles of perspective, ensuring night thoughts do not distort. You scribble next to the list a miniature arrow pointing east, visual promise that morning will arrive with fresh directives. Then you close the notebook, sealing worries inside Father's keeping. Silence deepens. You listen not for answers, but for the leisurely heartbeat of grace still pacing you. You pray swift sentences over loved ones. The child studying late, the friend grieving quietly, the stranger you encouraged at lunchtime. Words ascend like lanterns released into dusk, and imagination watches them drift, illuminating paths you may never walk yet still influence. At last you slip toward rest. Bedroom curtains sway. Mirrors glint faintly, and you remember that even sleep is worship when surrendered. You recite a closing benediction. Light of the world, guard my dreams, prepare my dawn. Let no shadow steal what you forged today. Peace wraps around ankles, climbs to shoulders, and settles over eyelids. As you drift, you picture God's smile shimmering through star fields, supervising galaxies, and also the small room where his child sleeps content. Darkness covers landscape, yet cannot breach the citadel of illuminated trust. You rest assured that light, once planted, is perennial. It will rise tomorrow unprompted, ready to stir birds, flood windows, and whisper again. Walk in me. Breathe gently and notice how today's journey, from quiet dawn to soft twilight, has painted your spirit with layers of radiance. Each humble yes became a spark. Together they forged a torch that still glows inside you now. In this silence, picture one person or place still wrapped in dusk, and imagine extending your inner light there, like a candle offered in friendship. Trust that God multiplies every flicker you release. Sit with that hopeful image, allow gratitude to swell. Then carry this glow into the coming hours.